Welcome to another video. Today's topic. It took me a little while to get this done. I've even received calls, I've gotten emails, and I've been asked in comments too. When the video is finally going to be released, where I have all the components that I've already introduced to you in the corresponding videos, when will they all be installed in the Smart? Actually, it's like this. We're just at the beginning of 2023. And actually, I installed all this fun in the Smart at the beginning of 2022. That means I've actually been driving around with it. Not just actually, I've been driving around with it for over a year. Why I'm only getting to the video now? It's partly due to time, the projects, and actually the weather. Today is definitely the day. There's the Smart installation video. Or rather, what does installation mean? I will go over in detail how I laid the cables and precisely how I screwed in the speakers. What, where, how everything interacts with each other, how the tweeters are going to be mounted on the A-pillar, and so on and so forth. That means I didn't have a cameraman looking over my shoulder the whole time. When I took the doors apart, when I removed the A-pillars, or anything else, all the videos are made by me and I've just been filming in between. Always shot short status videos, where you can see how, what, and why. I would say, let's jump right in. And the first thing I started with was the tweeter. So, tweeter, positioning, mounting, and so on, that's what we're going to look at first. So first of all, you can see the mount from Eaton, which you've already seen in my tweeter video. And I first just stuck it to the A-pillar with double-sided tape, so that it would fit in terms of position. Next, I carefully sketched out the holes that you then saw and drilled through them. Of course, by removing the A-pillar. And then I theoretically already attached the tweeters securely onto the A-pillar in the process. Cables pulled through. First problem solved, I would almost say. But yes, tweeters, nice and good. Now I have tweeters in the car. The rest has to be done too. And the rest? Yes, you can do it in different ways. You can of course say, okay, I'm trying to tuck the cable somewhere under the channel and the insulation in there. I just wanted to work a bit more in a more organized manner. Doesn't mean you have to do it, but I did it. And here's the video.
There's the whole mess. There's the emptied out Smart. And the cables are in that. Means we can also take a look at the ceiling.
The ceiling is clean now. There will be insulation added. Otherwise, the door panels are next. They're not quite ready yet. But for that, the rest. I've basically laid all the cables. I'll show you in a moment where the cables are running. Otherwise, here's the ceiling again. It will be cleaned again, as I said. And yes, this is what a stripped Smart looks like. With a hanging joy-in radio. So, as we can see, here are our adapters, etc. Everything has been laid back, including SPDIF cable, USB cable, remote cable, etc. And speaker cables, because I'm using the original cable loom that goes into the doors. I didn't want to run cables into the doors. That's why I'm here with my cables that I ran separately from the amplifier. Went with the original cables that go into the adapter here and then into the doors. And then we'll take a look at all of it. That means SPD, free mode, and the sound. So, the speaker signals for the TMTS. Coming down here, we're just simply going to lay it out here. About main harness to the entire part. Reason is the amplifier goes here like this. The carpet. Accordingly, all the wires are now here. The next wire I have is from the tweeter. The tweeter, well, the A-pillar is also gone right now because of the renovation. But the wire from the A-pillar runs down there, basically here, all the way along, completely to this part here. And on the other side, we also have the tweeter cable, which is hanging down here. It runs down there, along with the power cable. So with the positive, this way, around the back, here through to that part, where positive negative is. So, ground. I got the ground from the ground terminal here. Right behind the panel is a ground terminal. And here it is laid down with the other stuff. Other than that, there's not much more to see in here. I'll show you again at the front, where the positive cable goes in. See, right back there is the positive cable as it goes through the committee. And otherwise I've just left a bit of extra length here. Here you connect the fuse holder, and then it shouldn't be a problem. The battery is out. And the battery as it should be. Just chilling here at the Z-Tech. So, next step. Dimming, and then it continues. That's everything that's not in the Smart, because the Smart looks like this. Let's take a look. A lot of cables. Here on right, we have the back plate where the Stealth is basically screwed on. Now drilled through with screws, screwed down and glued firmly with Sigaflex. It's hardening. Down here we see all the cables. That means both the high frequency cables from the right as well as the mid-bass cables that run along here. And there, as well as the power and right high frequency cable which goes around here. And then it disappears there. The hanging joy ring radio. Yes, otherwise. We now have a soundproofed roof. It's soundproofed. Yes. Complete coverings that are going to be attached up here. Seafront. Painted. Let's take a look at the front. And we have now prepared everything accordingly. Means here's the power cable that goes through the back, an 80 amp fuse. And here is the open end. I'm not sure where the battery is. And down here, you can see an additional 25mm ground cable next to the original ground cable. Also, there's still no ring terminal on it, because I still don't know when, or rather, where exactly the negative terminal is. As I said, it goes through back there. There's not much else. Next, I would say door panel. Thank you. It's slowly coming together again. The doors still haven't been started, but the floor is in. The amplifier is installed and wired. The cable that goes up here is for the subwoofer. Everything is wired up neatly. As I said, the carpet is in. Next, the seats are going back in, and then we can connect everything for now. Is there a stop? The end pieces that you can barely make out. There's enough space. It's temporary up there. Now the subwoofer is installed. I'm still holding the whole panel. Subwoofer set.
And installed tweeter once. I installed the tweeter there. Everything once tested. That means the DSP is working. The amplifier is playing music, and now the doors still need to be soundproofed. So, the power supply is now finished. We can see we have one positive. This is our additional positive lead. Well insulated. This is what we're doing. Let's also see what it looks like. Just connected here with the ring cable. Made a cutout in the cover to allow for better airflow. Looks good. Then it goes here with 23 semi into the fuse. There is an 80 amp fuse installed. Then it continues there, and back there it goes into the interior. Ground, the original ground, and that's the additional ground with the ring terminal that we have seen. This is additional ground with ring terminal. It goes to the sponsors, and then it goes down there to the sponsors, to the original ground point. So now we literally have the door panel here from the driver's door. Slightly damped. Here this SCCA damping material. Here the Norflex elements. Not too much, just a little support. It shouldn't get too heavy. The car. Then we have here. Probably turned the wrong way. Here we have the door inner panel component. Here we also see around the ring with aluminum putty, and otherwise there's the HD here. You miss a bit of HD. And otherwise aluminum has been used. What the lightweight smart looks like. It means without a door. And as you can see nicely, the smart has no battery carrier or anything like that. The thing only has an outer and inner plastic. And in here, there are guides for the window. For the window and nothing else. That's from the inside. Let's look. Oh, right. You know, we also have some really great speakers up here. Old speaker. Such a nice coaxial with a huge magnet. And here's the connection, in case anyone is interested. Here's the connection. It's also like a mosaic. This is the connection. It will probably just be simply cut off and plugged in, and this is the new speaker. EGI, which is also significantly heavier and has a much larger magnet. It's just not comparable. Yeah, a plastic basket. Yeah, so let's continue. The speaker adapters that are suitable for the smart. A good friend of mine printed it, and I can convey that if needed. Otherwise, there's still a bit of Amoplex stuck on top to improve the connection to the door. And all of that is basically screwed into the door panel. We have 3 screw points. And now the new Eton CRS is basically hanging there. 4 ohm speakers, car turned ohms in the door panel of the smart. Car turned around. Door is finished. Now we're doing the door. And go. I took a short test drive. A few warning indicators on the display, including the battery. And during the drive, I also noticed what's going on. You see, here's the funny sensor for battery management. Of course, I definitely forgot to put that back on. I hope that hopefully addresses and hopefully solves the battery problem. Yeah, the airbag light, I need to check that out, what the driver memory says.
So, the headliner is going back in now. It's been completely done in black. But I just added a little bit more acoustic mats to the roof. It was really intense driving without a roof, super bright, That's why I added a bit more insulation, because here we can see there's space between the roof skin. So get that done. And now the roof is going back in. Excited.
And this is what the Smart looks like today. Means a year later. Actually, completely unchanged. Called still a blue-purple car. The speakers are exactly where they were. The doors haven't been opened again. The amplifier hasn't been replaced. Really, essentially one-to-one, just what we already know. The radio is still in there. It's working again. Basically, I'm already satisfied with that. One of the reasons why the video just took a bit longer, it should actually go directly. The detailed content regarding the setup and configuration of the DSP amplifier. DSP amp is showing itself to be a bit finicky. Means it still has a few quirks in the software that you just have to understand. To understand, okay, then it does that, then it does that. But there will definitely be more videos on that. You can see them. The tweeters are now nicely placed in the A-pillars. And yes, everything looks really good. Everything works well. Can I recommend it one-to-one? I can recommend the front system. That's fun. That can get really loud. Definitely nothing to complain about regarding the choice of components so far. In the back of the trunk, you can see the subwoofer. If someone is wondering, why is the trim on the left side so lacking in paint? So, painted, my dog asks. And this is what the whole setup looks like from the back. Actually, it's quite cool. When you move the seat forward, you can see the subwoofer from the back. And you can see the 7-channel amplifier, of which I only use 6. I use channels actually one-to-one, just as they. After the installation was done, haven't touched it anymore. Everything that has to do with settings happens via software. That means you don't have to turn any knobs or anything like that. If you're wondering right now, oh my god, so much effort. Yeah, okay. I might have exaggerated a bit. You didn't have to do everything exactly the same. You didn't have to take out the carpet. You didn't have to take out the seats, etc. But I just wanted to do it right. It's definitely important in the power supply, the ground amplification, the proper fusing. Make sure the cables aren't rubbing anywhere. Otherwise, you could quickly break something in that particular area. There. Then I was also asked how long I took for the whole fun. So I had a week for the entire renovation, as you saw. I had a week, and in that 1 week, I also completely changed the trim, which was originally light in the Smart to dark, including the headliner. The entire trim, which was originally light in the Smart, turned dark, including the headliner. The trim in the Smart is just plastic parts. They were briefly sanded, cleaned, and then primed, and painted black. The headliner, there's a separate video for that. I needed 2 or 3 tries to find the right way. As I showed in the short videos, I've been messing around with the settings for a year now. The ones I did about 9 months ago in the car. I'm still not completely satisfied, but that's really nitpicking at a very high level. The car is fun, and if something was really bothering me there, I would have been sitting in the car for a long time to change something. But that's definitely something I want to take you along with me on. That means there will be videos. How I set up the Stealth DSP amplifier. First the basic settings, and then also a bit of workflow. How I check with my measuring device that I get this thing to sound good. If you're interested in the removal of the doors, if you're interested in the renovation of the doors in the Smart forum, there are 2 detailed guides on the internet. How to take the doors apart and put them back together, I just stuck to that. That worked great. There are also the corresponding drawings for the speaker adapters. So that's the source of your choice, and yes, I can definitely recommend that to you. To register you. So what's next for my Smart? So far, I'm satisfied with the car. It drives well, the music is good. As I just said, I'm going to adjust the DSP settings just a little bit. Take you with me. And otherwise, if I'm satisfied with it, maybe I'll make some changes again. Maybe I'll put in a different subwoofer. Maybe I'll put in a different DSP amplifier. Who knows? So, I like to play around. So I don't think this will be the final state. Stay tuned. Thank you all if you enjoyed the complete report.